go. All right. Well, thank you again for coming. My name is Jessie with the Cowart team, and today we're here to talk about budgeting. Budgeting can be something that can leave a sour taste in people's mouths when they hear the words. It can be the financial equivalent to dieting, but it doesn't have to be. It can feel like you're taking something away from you, and it doesn't have to be that. It it is it's meant to set you up for success. It's meant to direct your money where you want it to go versus finding out where it went or not being sure of where it went. Um, so it is. It can be good things, just like all things with balance. You can still diet and have some cookies. You can still spend your money and budget, but we want to be intentional about it. We want to know where it's going. So still letting a couple people in here. All right. Okay. If you're not familiar with who we are, our team is right here, this lovely picture of a group of like-minded, like-hearted mortgage professionals that are all working towards helping you reach your financial goals. Our tagline is grow forward confidently. And we mean that. We're more than a mortgage. It's more than just getting pre-approved. We care about financial wealth, and especially within this community, we want to help whoever we can, which is what has led us here. This passion for financial education has led us here to talking about budgeting today. Now, some house rules. We're gonna move quickly. We will end on time. We'll take breaks for questions. This is casual. This is interactive. Feel free to jump in however you're comfortable. You're welcome to sit here on mute, keep your camera off, or jump in and ask questions. Use the chat. This is casual. And it's okay. We're gonna talk about a lot of information, so it's okay if you feel overwhelmed. You have already taken you've already taken the right first step of just showing up and being here. So you're off to a good start. It can be overwhelming, and that's okay. We can After this, we're still here for you. You can reach out with questions. We have some other tools that you can revisit as well. Um, our goal is to show you how to set up a monthly budget. When we're not sure of how to do something, then it can be something that we avoid just because we don't know. We don't know how to start. We don't know what to do. So we're gonna show you how to set it up. We're gonna answer questions, and we're gonna leave you with some tools and resources so that you can do this on your own. So I hit a little bit of this as we've talked so far, but with being overwhelmed, just remember you have time. We've got the resources here for you. This isn't just a one-stop webinar. We've got sheets and guides and tips and tricks. We've got a podcast on it. And we're here as a team, as just local professionals that care about you and your financial health. So reach out, and we will do this webinar quarterly. So feel free to come back. Today is just a place to start. Now, this is something that we learned from a coaching course that we took. Greg took it, started it was probably 10 years ago, or close to it at least. And that coaching program, they've been using it for 20 plus years. And people that make $40,000 a year use it. People that make $4 million a year use it. You can't out earn it or confuse it. It's a simple Excel that can be customized and you can make work for you. So it's a great start. I have personally been using it for about 8 years. And over these 8 years, I've kind of updated it, made little tweaks to make it my own and make it work for me. Aside from this budget, I've been in this mortgage industry and financial education for 12 years, and this is a foundation of our team. The culture, it's a big part of the culture of our team. So really proud of that, and hopefully looking forward to helping more and more of this community. A few just pieces of information when it comes to the wealth in this country. And this first one here, 56% of families in America cannot come up with $1,000 in an emergency. We don't want you to be a part of this statistic. This hurts us. If something happened tomorrow and you needed $1,000, 56% of the people in our country couldn't do that. And further than that, 70% actually don't have $1,000 in their savings. US debt is at an all-time high. We want to help you stay out of these statistics. Now here, it's a little bit about equity. 62% of the wealth in this country is from the equity in their homes. And 60% of people own a home in America. We do like these. We want to be here and not there, and then letting this grow. Wealth not just in your equity, but definitely owning a home, because that's one great place to help your financial health. Now, what's our game plan for goals here? With setting up a budget and getting started, what are we trying to accomplish? First is we want at least $1,000. We want to get out of that. We want to get out or stay out of that statistic. From there, we want to build that savings even further. We want to see 1 month of reserves. If the world hit the fan tomorrow, aside from that 1,000, do you have at least 1 month where without working, you can live your life as you need to? Get gas, have your groceries, pay your minimum bills. And then we're going to keep growing. Aside from just paying our bills, we want to pay off debt, especially debt that has high interest rate, consumer debt, your credit cards. We want to get rid of those using something that we call a debt snowball, which we'll continue to dig more and more into. And then we don't just have less debt and 1 month of savings, but we're going to build to 3 months of savings. That's a starting place. We can keep growing from here, but this is at least a place where we can really start. And once you're here, you're out of the statistic of 70% of Americans. So it's a good place to start. Anything so far? Any questions? So we'll take a quick check-in.
Could you go back to that last slide, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions here with this slide? Okay. All right, we'll keep moving along. All right, a couple of points here that we'll say a lot, some just mantras that we'll say. You build wealth through savings, not income. People can often say, if I just earned more, I can save more. A lot of times we see if you earn more, you actually just spend more. The savings, the building wealth, that comes from the discipline of budget and saving your money. Doing this monthly budget is the simplest and most critical discipline to start. You can earn, but if you don't have the discipline and aren't doing the budget, then you still might not be hitting these savings goals. A budget itself, it's telling you where your money, it's telling your money where to go, not wondering where it went. And if you don't get serious about money, you will never have serious money. So just a couple of little mantras that you might hear us say on the team that all hit home and really matter. All right, as we go into the budget, you will hear us use some words. There's some concepts here to know and be aware of. You'll hear us talk about fear of zero. When you no matter how much it is that you make, when you're swiping your debit card with an account and you are afraid of it getting denied, that's good. Having a little fear there is good. So when you take money out of your account and have a little bit of that fear and awareness, you're much more likely to not swipe it unless you plan for it. Now, that doesn't mean that things don't come up or things are a little more expensive than you planned. And so we want an overdraft account. We want an emergency account for if this happens. And this is a common one that you might have heard through other strategies and other budget classes or just finance in general, where people say, pay yourself first. Start with yourself versus everything else. Pay yourself first. Debt snowball, we briefly heard that word just a few minutes ago. And this is the analogy of a snowball. It's building momentum. You make minimum payments on your debt and starting with your smallest. Sorry about that. Starting with your smallest, and once that one is gone, then take what you were spending on paying off that credit card and now apply it to the next. And once that one is gone, now you're applying it to the next. So you're building momentum, and that momentum will start compounding what you're putting towards these credit cards, helping you pay them off faster. Survival number, this is going to be the minimum you spend each month to get by. When times are super tight, if you lost your job, what's the minimum amount that you need each month to make ends meet? Your on deck account. We'll talk about a couple of different accounts that are helpful to have. And with this on deck account, this is the account where your paychecks go into. Your income goes into this account, which you will then use for your bills and spending. And your budget work. This can depend on how you're paid and where you're starting, but to at least start, we like budget work twice a month, your first and your 15th, not watching it day to day, but being intentional and planning and sitting down with it twice a month. So here's a little bit about the bank accounts that we use. So we just talked about your on deck account. This is where your money goes, where your income goes to then use for your bills. We have a bills account. This is where we're paying these from. Your overdraft account, which we mentioned. And then your reserves account. This is where we're going to start saving our money. So now we'll dig into the fun part here. Now this is kind of hard to see, so I'm going to pull up a live one. And so this is an example of one. It might look overwhelming at first, but we're going to walk you through it step by step. As you sit with it and work with it, you'll get more and more comfortable. This first month here, this is where you're listing out everything that you need to pay. Starting with the bills that you have to pay every month. These are your normal, typical bills. Your mortgage, your rent, your vehicle, your student loans, your electric, your water. We're going to start with all of those. This is where you're starting to, this gives you an opportunity to do even an audit as you go from what's absolutely necessary to then just what other things are you spending money on each month. Your Peloton, your Netflix, there's so many subscriptions nowadays. I know I have to every now and then kind of go through my Apple and clear them out, making sure I know what is coming out there. So great time for you to do an audit of those accounts. And you're not just listing here those regular monthly bills that come out every month, but you even start writing out if it's summer, if you're gonna book a vacation, that's going to be an expense for this month. So we go ahead and list it here in this customized column with what you're gonna be paying. Your groceries, your gas, anything, landscaping, anything that you're gonna be spending your money on, you're listing it here. So thinking it's the things you always pay, and it's thinking ahead of what are you going to have to pay this month? Do you need new shoes? Whatever it is, you're listing it here. So this is column 1. Now this column 2 is figuring out that survival number. Your minimum payment due. So here we're figuring out this, oh crap, times are rough. What's the minimum you need? The roof above your head, gas to go to work, groceries, the minimum things, electricity. Now, in this case, Netflix can be canceled, or maybe you don't go on that vacation. So those aren't things that would go into your survival number. Your survival number is what you must pay. Now, column 3, this is what you actually paid. So maybe your credit card is a minimum payment of 25 bucks, but you're trying to debt snowball and you're paying 300. Then what you actually pay goes in this column 3, including any kind of giving and savings. So you tithed, maybe you donated, you put $1,000 in your savings. This is going to what you actually, this is stating what you actually paid. Column 4 here is you're noting the amount you saved. So you moved $1,000 over to your reserve account. Great, that's going in this column. And including going into this column is your 401k. Remember, this is pre-tax, so it's not going in money that came out for column 3, but it came out, pre your check. So that's money that you can note as saved. Column 5. This is any of your notes where you can customize your balances, when there are due dates, so on and so forth. This column gives you that. And this column is your income, the income coming in that you're going to be working with. Now, when you look at the totals at the end, what you should find here is learning your survival number, how much you actually spent, which if we're doing our fear of 0 and we're really notating where everything is going, should actually be what your income is. And then, of course, we have what's saved here. Now, down in the bottom is going to show you an analysis and a summary of it, so where you could keep track of just seeing that snapshot of month after month, how it's progressing. So how much you need in your reserves, how much you're saving, how much you're giving, where your balances are. This will show you that here. Now, different income structures can influence how you operate the budget. Now, for me, I do my budget once a month at the beginning of the month because I'm commissioned. So I don't know when I'm going to get paid over this next month. So I take my money from last month and I'm paying this month's bills with last month's money. Now, as if you're paid twice a week, and especially just as you get started, you might be doing this, every 2 weeks, kind of how you're paid. And that's okay. You'll work it will be working. And then as you keep working through it, you can get to a point where maybe you are doing it a month ahead, or maybe what you're doing is working just fine and don't change a thing. Now, any questions so far? Let me do a check-in here. Any questions so far? See something in the chat. Good. How effective? So Dawson asked, how effective is the budgeting method for couples with single incomes? It's still really it's still effective because budgeting and saving has less to do with the income that you're making and more to do with your discipline for, being intentional with your money, laying out what your bills are to pay, working on lowering that debt, and working on savings. People who make $40,000 a year can be saving more than someone who makes 4 million, because we can always spend as much as we can make. So it does work. And when it comes to just like the dynamic of the couple, we can hear people a lot say like, oh, my partner's not into budgeting, they're not getting on board. That's something we hear a lot, and when we hear that, we say just do it anyway. Budget for the household anyway. And you don't have to talk to them about it a lot, you don't have to throw it around a lot, but just do it quiet, just keep doing it. And after a few months, kind of like, hey, look at what I'm doing, look at how this is progressing and how this is moving, and then they can tend to get more on board. Sometimes people might say like, I don't want to get on board, or I don't want to do a budget because then you'll tell me what to spend. And it doesn't have to be like that either. You can lay it out. Part of this can be so and so's fund money for the month, and it's $100 or whatever it is. You're just calling it out to see where your money's going and telling it where to go. Does that help? Did that answer? Okay, well, Dawson said they were also having some technical problems. Okay, yes, thank you. Perfect. Well, keep questions coming. Anything else? Any other questions here? All right. Well, let's see then. So our encouragement to you is going to be to get started. You can do this. The first place is just trying it out. We have this on our website, so thecowerteam.com, and under the resources tab, you will see you'll see several resources, but you'll see a podcast there, and you will see a budget like a boss folder, which is going to include some tips and tricks. It's going to include the template, and then just try it. Reach out to us if you have questions. We're going to give you a challenge. So this week, go check out the podcast. Just listen to it. It's called Family Budgets, and it's on Spotify. You can hit it on our website as well. So if we're cowerteam.com, hit resources, educational downloads, and first up is going to be the podcast. So go to that. You'll see several things that might interest you, but family budgeting is going to be one of them. So listen to that. And while you're listening to it, on the same resources tab, you're going to see the Budget Like a Boss. And take a look at these. Open up this spreadsheet. Look at the instructions in the guide as a reminder. Listen to that podcast and just start playing with it. Your first step is looking at that column number 1 and estimating your expenses. Just looking back through your bank statement, doing that audit. What subscriptions do you have? How much do you think you spend on gas or on groceries? And what do you think you have going on for the rest of the month? And then around the 15th, check it again. How have things gone? How on track are you with what you are estimating? And try to complete it. Finish that line item or that column and see how it looks. Putting in your income. How does it look? Are you better than you thought? Do you need to make some tweaks? But that's the first place to at least start. We don't want to just kind of walk around blindly, because your money's going somewhere. But by laying it out on the table, you can tell it where to go. And you can make adjustments as you need to then keep hitting your goals as you and your family so desire. Like I've said, we're here to help. So feel free to reach out to us. But after you've done it, once you've done it for 1 month, then absolutely reach out to us. And if you do, we'll enter you to win a gift card as a little treat, a little incentive. Sound good? Are we gonna do it? Anyone want to chime in? Are they gonna do it?
Yes, I'm gonna try.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And if you have questions, are you gonna reach out? Use the resources to reach out?
More than you guys might want.
Okay, so like I said at the beginning, we are passionate about financial education. So we will keep doing this. Every quarter, you'll see Budget Like a Boss, but other than that, you'll see Game of Money. So building financial wealth, it just takes a little twist off of just budget. So along with budget, what are we then, what are we building to? So we'll dig a little bit more into, as you have your reserves, then what? So that can kind of take it a little further. And then the next one is going to be buying a house here and now. So whether you are someone trying to buy your first house, or you have a house to sell and aren't sure how to navigate the selling and the buying, or if you should even sell, or what you should do, that's going to help there. To in this current market, because the market's also always changing and situations are changing, that what tools, what do you need to know, any kind of strategies that help you with buying a house right now. And of course, we have to do a little plug here. We are passionate, we do care, and not all mortgage lenders do. This isn't super common. So if you have a friend, or you have family or a coworker that is thinking about just moving or buying, then send them our way. We would love to help and have them be jumping on these webinars with you. Okay, so reminder, I already pulled up the website just live to show you that. So it's a lot. We've got resources here for you, and we're here for you. And thank you again for coming. We are ahead of schedule. So feel free to, if anyone wants to unmute, has questions, or wants to share any kind of experiences that y'all have with budgeting. Scotty, I think Scotty, you're on mute. Oh, you're still on mute. Let me see. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you all.
Okay. Have a great night.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, somebody said a question.